Happy Sunday. Hey, it's good to see you. It's still Sunday, which is awesome because that means I got everything done early tonight. So, interesting day, very interesting day. I coming off of Saturday where I did everything I could to really focus on doing the juice and the enema like by the book as much as I could. And so, much more successful than during the week. And so I want to take a look, want to see what happened. Check this out. Boop, right? To push the tumor over and push it forward. So you can see, it's crazy. The light in here makes it look so much bigger than it really is. But you can see, I think, that it's different. And so I think what I'm going to have to do is go back and look at the first video and then compare it to this.
So here's a look.
Do the best I can to put those two together.
Side by side. Here's day one, and you can see it's larger in diameter, and it's like my neck is thicker. And then here, much smaller in diameter, my neck was probably thinner. I've lost 17 pounds.
But it sure feels a lot smaller. Even when I do that, I used to be able to see it puff out, and it's not so much now. So I'm really excited about that. Today was it was probably a little bit better than during the week in that I juiced a couple times, and I definitely got the salads in that I needed. So it's a challenge because basically my fridge is only big enough to hold about enough produce for 2 days. So, and the reason is like one green juice will take an entire head of lettuce, a quarter of a green pepper, and then a whole lot of leaves of like beet tops and some other stuff that escaroli, which I haven't even found. I don't even know where to go to get that. I don't even know what it looks like. So it's not a perfect thing, but I'm definitely getting better at it, and definitely have lots of love and support. And so that's cool. And on top of it, so it was Sunday, we went to church, and then got back, and like with everything in us, believed that our back door was kicked in, which is pretty scary. So who knows, if somebody's still in the house, and my wife's there, and my thought was, call the police, don't go in, right? Because who knows what's going on. Because the door was wide open. So she did that, and the police came over really quickly. We're in East Side St. Paul, which is pretty close to downtown where the police department is. So the police they're not far off, and that's really nice. So they were there. They were at the house quick, like boom, quick. And I got there maybe 10 minutes, maybe after they did. And I pull up and I'm like, whew, there's like enough police in my yard to like hold hands and surround the house, which is it's a shock. You could tell the neighbor was sitting across the street just like, wonder what's going on. And so there's a lot going on. Plus, they brought the dog. They brought the canine dog, and they were going to send the dog into the house to check, right? Better the dog goes in and finds the bad guy than a people. So, the reason this is funny is because we have cats, but they live outside. And because the door was left open, we really didn't know if a cat maybe went inside. And so my wife is sitting in her vehicle out, with the windows down, and she's listening to these conversations. And literally like 10 policemen are surrounded the house, plus an undercover guy. And so, they're guarding the exits, and the dog's sitting there. And when I pull up, it's a German Shepherd, big, fuzzy German Shepherd. And he's sitting there, and he's like, his ears like flopped over, and he, he's just hot. It was warm today. So he's sitting in the sun, he's just chilling. And my wife hears them say, if there's a cat in there, this will not go well. It's not going to end well. So they didn't send the dog in. So like literally the outside cats became guard cats, And that's the reason we didn't have the free-range dog running around in the house. So all of this goes on. They wrap up. They're like, we don't see anything. And then they kind of re-look at the door and realize it's like the frame's not broken. It doesn't appear to be kicked in anymore. It just kind of looks like it was not locked, which is what happened. Yeah. So, bummer, bad call, whatever. But it's really cool that the system worked. And what's really fun about that is, so like, we'll take a departure from the tumor talk for a little bit. What's really fun about that is the system worked. Like, call 911, the police showed up. In fact, they brought an extra team. Normally they said they'd come with like 4 people, but in this case they brought 5 more because it was a training day, and they were like, we'll just go through it together. So the system worked. They did what they were supposed to do. My wife knew what she was supposed to do. The girls were safe, and everything worked out. In the meantime, and this is why I'm bringing it up, in the meantime, I had agreed to cover a tithe ministry today at church because somebody was sick. And so, I had everything laid out and purposed and planned. And I've done it before, so probably would have gone pretty smoothly with me. But I get a phone call that's, hey, the door's wide open on the house. And I'm like, well, does it look kicked in? And at the moment, yeah, it did. So I go find somebody, hey, can you cover me? Because I think my house got broken into. And they're like, yeah, go, no problem. It's no big deal. So now we end up, I didn't know it, but it was the blind leading the blind. So there's always 3 people. It was just kind of a hodgepodge of circumstances that made it very difficult for anything to come together right. And so that was a challenge. Even the way that the girls were going to handle it initially needs a little attention too. So all of these things come together, and we're like, I'm so grateful that there was no emergency. There's no problems. It was just an oversight. That's cool. And there's so much that we can learn from it. And that's my thought, is like, each and every day, what can I do, or what can we do together to constantly learn how to do things better? And I think that's really been the process for this first 20 days, right? Every day, I started out, I didn't even have a juicer. I didn't even have what I needed. I was just like, okay, well, I'm doing all vegan, right? And one of the big reasons for the vegan stuff is my acidity in my body is too high. Always, like for years and years and years, it's too high. And I'm still trying to figure out the reason for it, but I always ate a lot of meat, like you name it, snacking meat, salami, hot dogs, steaks, you name it, just any kind of meat. And meat makes a body, or at least my body, it makes it acidic. And that's kind of an environment where guys like this can hang out. So once you get your alkalinity rising, acidity down, alkalinity, back, trying to get to that, I think it's 7.063. I think that's right. Is where the balance occurs. And then your body can naturally get rid of tumors and cancer and all kinds of mean, nasty things. Right? So I'm working on that over the last 20 days, just piecing it together, and finally got to where, oatmeal in the morning, got the orange juice. I just learned today that one of the major things, and I don't really like the green juices are not as tasting, fulfilling maybe as the carrot apple. The carrot apple, they're just flat good. Like, I could do that. I could drink those every day for a long, long time. And I guess that's good because I have to. But the green juices are really key. I'm sweating like crazy because I'm in a sauna and I've got it cranked up to 190. I don't think it ever gets that hot, but it's supposed to be able to. And that's another way to get detox. That's another way to sweat out all of the toxins, all the things that my body's trying to take out. So I put good food in, good nutrients in. I do the enema stuff, which helps my bile production, and my body then is able to produce its own glutathione. When it can do that, I think it's like LS transferase. I forget the exact word. But that goes out and it starts whittling away, tearing away at all the nasty stuff. So I'm doing everything I can internally and then externally in the sauna to knock this stuff out. And that's the goal. And then, and then you just introduce normal life. Like somebody breaking into your house, which didn't happen. I mean, it was just hey, tricked myself. So that was interesting. And then, just the end of the day, which I'll put a video in on, just urban gardening. Like we have a little garden and needed to till it all up. And there's this nifty little tiller that my, what would you say, uncle-in-law? Yeah, uncle-in-law, I guess, let us use. Which the thing's awesome. It needs new gas, but it ran good, and it was like totally fun for an old motocross guy like me, because anything with an engine in it makes. This is urban farming. I just want to say, seek the Lord on whatever it is you're doing, because if you're looking into a get healthy therapy, there are so many of them. It's so overwhelming to try and pick apart one from the other. Whatever you're going to do, pick it and live with conviction with it. And when I say that, I say, when I found the Gerson diet, I just believe that something that's been proven and tested over 80 years and works, there's too many testimonies of it that it works, that there's probably some validity in it, and there's no money in it. Like it's not beneficial to anybody in the medical industry, because I'm buying food, I'm buying lots of carrots and apples and green stuff. Got supplements, so obviously there's some money in that for the supplement makers, but they're not prescription. Like there's no way to have a normal standard insurance cover that. So there's no money in it. Like this, there's just no benefit. It's people that are doing this are doing it because they get better. And obviously, I mean, there's sometimes when that doesn't happen. There's sometimes when those people, they don't recover and they die. And you know what? You got to know where you're going when you die. That's really the key. And any good place will know that and tell you that up front. Does your relationship with God make you sure you'll go to heaven when you die? If so, what would you say God's requirements are? And when you can answer that, when you can honestly answer that and say, and if you don't know, it's super simple. The Bible tells us everything we need for life and godliness. It's super simple. It's ask Jesus, accept Jesus as your Savior. And then he tells us, just love your neighbor as yourself, right? And so, like right now, I'm going through all of these things, the detox and the coffee, and they call it coffee breaks, and then all of the fun making that goes along with it, because like I don't drink coffee anymore. I just take coffee, and that's interesting in all and of itself. I guess I should quit. It's been a good day. I hope you find this encouraging. If so, would you click on that subscribe button down here somewhere? I think it's usually over here if the video doesn't turn around. If you click on the subscribe button, then you'll get the notifications. Actually, hit subscribe and then touch the little bell. The little bell will give you the notifications, and that way, when I upload a new video, you'll get it. You'll be the first to get it, at least if you want to. So, I hope you have a great night. I'll catch you tomorrow.